Historically, a lot of the southeast United States was dominated by pine communities like this, and the frequency of fire started by lightning in those areas or Native Americans was anywhere between 2 and 5 years.
When we started burning in '99, these stands were completely overgrown. They basically had way too much stuff growing in there.
These plants are really fire prone, they're fire dependent, they off-gas a lot of volatile compounds.
Fire is essentially resetting the clock. It's providing new life, and we want to get that message out there that this is a good thing and this is why we're doing it.
On historic battlefields, river flood plains, and mountain forests, prescribed fire plays a vital role in national parks across the Southeast. It's an effective way to prevent wildfire and restore natural landscapes. This is the story of one prescribed fire at Gulf Islands National Seashore, Florida.
It is definitely a challenge to burn here at Gulf Islands. We're on a peninsula. We have a lot of neighbors, what we call urban interface.
Like many national parks, Gulf Islands National Seashore has a major highway running through it. It takes special expertise to burn safely here, reproducing the effects of natural fire.
And a naturally occurring fire at this normal frequency would be a surface fire. It would not be what some people fear and picture as these large crown fires that are ravaging through the landscape. It's a gentle fire moving across with only a foot or two high flame lengths.
The National Park Service is a leader in using prescribed fire to restore and maintain natural conditions. The team of Park Service experts working on this burn is the Great Smokies Wildland Fire Module.
For this series of burns, I'll be the burn boss.
Move on in, come on.
Basically, it's the conductor or manager. I've got a number of people that work for me.
I'm going to be directing the ignition squad on trying to target where the firefighters are putting fire on the ground. We have incendiary devices that are called drip torches. It's essentially a little pot of diesel fuel and unleaded gas. We'll drag that through the flammable fuels and ignite them.
The third key member of the team is the holding boss. His job is to ensure the fire burns safely.
We have all types of vehicles with water to put water on the fire, and then if it does get in the brush, we have chainsaws as far as getting after it. We have hand tools to scrape away the soil.
For several months, the burn boss has been working closely with the park biologist and fire management officer on the burn plan.
On Thursday, what we'll do is we'll just start down here in this corner with northwest winds. We'll just bring it up around. We'll do this lower loop first.
Yep.
But their plans have been hampered this year by heavier than usual rain caused by El Nino.
So we're looking at about 3 days now since we've had rain, and I think we're open for about at least 4 or 5 more days.
Out in the park, crews are cutting up dead trees and stacking them in final preparation for tomorrow's burn.
All right, let's gather up. Thanks for everybody coming out today. We're gonna burn NLO 10. That's a burn unit that's right over by headquarters, visitor center area, south of Highway 98.
The weather forecast is good, and a northwest wind will keep smoke off the highway. But there's one concern. Conditions have gotten very dry. Relative humidity's down to just 32%. The burn can proceed, but under a red flag warning.
So that should be a little watch-out situation for everybody out there today. Just keep an eye on things. Be cognizant of what's happening with fire on the ground out there.
As they head out, everyone on the team knows that safety is now the #1 priority. Two members of the ignition squad set the fire.
Burn boss, firing, we got fire on the ground. For beginning of an operation, we'll begin with anchoring into an area which has the least fuels possible so that it's easily defendable for our firefighters to get fire in. We don't have to worry about fire escaping the burn perimeter.
As a precaution, the holding squad hoses down a jackpot, a pile of dead trees that could cause a big blaze.
Just get one torch out there, light a little bit of that palmetto, and then we'll light this and bump around.
The team moves inland and into the wind. They ignite the brush in an area of oak forest. It's mostly shaded and damp here.
Yeah, this isn't really going to do much. This is kind of what I expected. But as we progress, we'll be in some more receptive fuels, such as you see behind me here, and we'll have higher fire intensity and higher fire behavior.
The burn boss and firing boss keep a sharp eye on which way the smoke is blowing.
It's getting a southerly. It's just going up and then heading off. It's really just heading off the top.
As the prescribed burn team reaches the highway, they face their first big test.
The major thing here is smoke, because we have major highways flowing with people driving 65 miles an hour by. A lot of times these people like to look, and they're not looking at the road ahead of them.
But the wind is holding steady, blowing the smoke away from the traffic, and the warming temperature is making the vegetation burn better.
It's just really thick and built up. It's like a big hedgerow. This fire here, it's consuming all that down. It'll really open up the vista here.
It's going good. Not on the highway, so that's good.
By late morning, burning conditions are nearly ideal. The burn team is anxious to make the most of them as they approach their next challenge.
This is a public picnic area that was really impacted by probably 4 tropical storms, hurricanes, and so there's a lot of dead and down trees. It's really overgrown.
And there's another complication. In the middle are several park structures. The holding crew clears away vegetation that's close by. Vehicles carrying water move into position. The local fire truck's heavy gauge hose is rolled out.
In that particular environment, we tend to err on the side of caution. Once we're bringing fire to those resources at risk, we'll use lots of times water, which is called pre-treatment. We'll spray the areas where our potential to get embers into that could possibly be ignition starts.
Now, it's up to the holding team to keep the blaze at bay, however hot it gets. They keep a constant lookout for runaway flames. For the ignition squad, it's time to refuel their drip torches.
Starting to pick up. The wind's coming up a little bit. The humidity's going down. Notice the fire behavior's increasing.
But if the wind picks up too much, that could be a problem, as they ignite a strip of pine forest running up to the visitor center.
As the landmass heats up, the landmass will suck air from the ocean or the Gulf, if you will, and it creates a sea breeze.
A strong sea breeze puts more than a few park streetlights at risk. It could push the smoke inland over the highway.
Smoke's coming back in a little bit. Wind's coming off the water right now, but it's still going up and then out to the south, which is right where we want it to go, so that's good.
Down on the beach, the firing boss prepares for the final push toward the visitor center.
Actually, let's keep you guys parallel. All parallel, move in that direction.
The ignition squad goes to work. But as they do, the firing boss gets the call he's trained to expect.
Say again?
That wind direction is really settling in off the down there.
We may have to call it after this next section, not burn that last one. If this keeps up, we'll be putting smoke on the road.
The strengthening sea breeze forces the team to shut down their prescribed burn early at Gulf Islands National Seashore. But they remain on alert until the last flames die down.
The pinelands had never been burned before and were really overgrown. That area burned really well. Unfortunately, the sea breezes kicked in and it shut us down before we intended to finish. We still have maybe 10 acres of pines that we'd like to burn it at some point as soon as we get the right conditions again.
In the blackened, still smoldering areas of the park, there's no sign yet of the benefits the flames will bring. But to the trained eye of an ecologist, the new growth that will shortly spring from the ashes is no mystery. The evidence is close by.
So how long has it been since you burned this area?
We did this one back in '07, and we're looking to do it again here this year.
This looks great because what we were shooting for is to kill some of the oaks, knock back the oak saplings and promote the native grasses, and it's doing exactly that.
In just 3 years, this section of the park has been completely revitalized by fire.
This open understory is going to be great for not only the gopher tortoise, but a lot of the songbirds in this area.
I think the habitat-wise, it's looking really good, and if there's ever a wildfire in here, it's just going to be a lot more manageable.
Prescribed fire is the key to keeping the national parks of the Southeast alive and well.